Waiting for the light to turn on. Welcome, Riddell Sports Network. I am Dan, and I'm rolling solo today. I'll leave their empty chairs there. Wherever Dave's chair went, I'm not quite sure. But anyways, my Nashville Predators game, they're currently in Sweden. That just went to the first intermission. So figured I'd hop on here and talk about the fact that Aaron Judge is your 2025 AL MVP. Ohtani won the NL one, but there wasn't really... I guess Schwarber was the next highest, and everyone knew the outcome of that. So there's just a couple of things that I wanted to specifically talk about in terms of the controversy, Aaron Judge versus Cal Raleigh. The first being, catcher is a difficult position to play. Judge couldn't play catcher. Do you think Raleigh could get out there in right field? Maybe right field at Yankee Stadium, if we're being honest, but Judge plays right field every single day. He lost a good portion of his 2022 season. Or was it 21? I don't remember the exact year, but he crashed through the wall at Dodger Stadium and was out for a while. He wasn't the same. He was on pace to win another MVP. I want to say it was 23. Because 22, he had the 62 home runs, so I think 23. Anyways, so that's not really an argument. People saw that one play in the World Series where Judge dropped it, trying to do too much. He dropped it. That inning blew up. The Yankees lose the World Series. So in everyone's mind, that's how Judge plays defense. But if you watch him every single day like we do, he's a fantastic defender. He had a stint where his elbow was hurt, and he couldn't put any power behind it, but he has a strong, accurate arm. The dude he's laid out for, I think it was 3 balls in one game to save a game against, man, I'm just going off of memory here. I can't remember exactly what team, but the guy can play. It's not like he's Giancarlo Stanton out there, just, filling a gap. And other people are saying that it is a trophy for the most valuable player. And while I'd agree, and what they mean by that is that, again, they're going back to the defensive thing, but tell me why in 2024 Shohei Ohtani won it. He had a great offensive season. He played no defense. He did not pitch a single inning, not one pitch during the 2024 season. Nobody was complaining then. It's an anti-Yankees, anti-Judge thing, and it's pretty obvious. I get that you want this guy, Raleigh, to win. I'm a big fan of people, of some variety. I'd like to see new people win all the time. Like to see as many people as possible, as many different men as possible win the MVP. I don't want one guy getting 7, which I'll talk about Ohtani in a minute. But it's just hard to argue with people who are so tribalistic and they absolutely refuse to see the other side of the aisle. I tried. I go on X. I try and defend Judge a little bit, but the numbers speak for themselves. So stolen bases, Cal Raleigh had 2 extra, which is actually quite surprising because if you put these two guys in a foot race, I'm sure Judge would dust them. Now, home runs, Cal Raleigh's +7. RBI, Cal Raleigh is +11. Other than that, there's nothing. Games played appearances, which is weird. You would think that, he'd be closer to Judge's amount of hits having played 7 more games, but no. Judge was an absolute machine. And in terms of if we want to talk about most valuable player, Judge is more valuable to the Yankees than Raleigh is to the Mariners. Why? Judge was out for a little bit. If you take Judge out of that lineup, the Yankees look lost. They're the most easily pitched to team. They have nothing to worry about in that lineup. Now, Bellinger, he's very good, but you write that lineup down on paper and you're like, oh my God, the Yankees have a stacked roster. They have a roster full of strikeouts, full of low contact hitters strikeouts, and home runs, of course, but they're the three major outcomes. What was it? Is that what it's called? The three major outcomes in baseball? That's the Yankees. Now, if you take Raleigh off the team, especially after the trade deadline, when they picked up Naylor and Eugenio Suarez, I mean, come on, the Mariners have a stacked roster. And again, this is nothing against Cal Raleigh. Aaron Judge had the better season. And it's not particularly close. Unless you value home runs, I guess the Yankees would probably rather have Cal Raleigh's season. Cal Raleigh's actually the player that they wanted. Cal Raleigh and got Aaron Judge. You know what I mean? They want a low average, high home run guy, but they lucked into Judge, and he's both. He's a high average, high home run guy. So, but they really wanted a guy who strikes out 250 times. But I'm not going to convince you either way. If you're already dead set on Cal Raleigh, my words aren't going to make you think, be logical and, I really think that he's right. No, you're already set in your ways. It's like grandpa on the porch, You're already set in your ways. But Aaron Judge is the MVP, whether you like it or not, and he deserves it. Now, Ohtani, on the other hand, should they? Now, I don't care about the Dodgers one way or the other. I'm a Yankees fan. I don't care. If this was the Red Sox, you could take it with a grain of salt. But should they? This is a general, genuine question to anyone who decides they want to respond. Should they separate Ohtani's pitching stats from the MVP race? Because if they don't, he's just going to win MVP from here until he retires. Because even if he pitches to a 5 ERA, he's still got better pitching stats than any other hitter. And he's got better hitting stats than any other pitcher, because obviously pitchers don't hit anymore. But is it something, do we need Ohtani rules for MVP voting? Like, he could be Cy Young for the pitching aspect, or MVP for the hitting. And I know pitchers have won MVP before. I think Verlander's probably the most recent. This is almost a decade ago at this point, but or if you wanted to say Ohtani is 20 wins to 2 losses and he has a 0.98 ERA, you can put that Ohtani in the MVP category and the hitting Ohtani in the MVP category. Like, he could be 1 and 2 in the MVP voting. I know it's strange, but I mean, I don't mind him winning it every year, but again, I just said earlier, I'd like to see other people get a crack at it. So, but if you don't do that, nobody's ever going to get a crack at it again until Ohtani retires in what? I think he's like 30, right? Let's see. So maybe another 10 years. So he's already got 4, I believe. He's 31, so let's call it 9 years. So he'll have 13 MVP awards, and everyone who's in the NL is just kind of screwed. Like, they don't really have a chance, which, is good on him. Good for Ohtani, but like just in terms of, I don't want to say fairness, but just in terms of it being interesting, because Ohtani's such a unique individual. Like, how are we ever going to even get close to, someone scratching the surface? Like, it just, I don't know, just something to think about. But that's my spiel. We'll talk more about this on Wednesday, but I was just kind of on X. I've been on X for a little while, arguing with people, trying to, and I'm not being rude about it. I'm trying to make logical arguments, which I guess if you want to do that, Twitter's not the exact right place to be. But anyways, nevertheless, Shohei Ohtani, NL MVP, Aaron Judge, AL MVP, and we'll talk about the rest of the